Beautiful soul who has grown tired of measuring your worth on the scales of other people. Don't chase after anyone. God created you valuable, and what belongs to you will one day find its way to you. The fact that these words are reaching your ears at this exact moment is not a coincidence. Not a single leaf falls without God's permission, and no person can reach what was never meant for them. If you're here, if you've encountered this voice, know that your soul cried out for help, and heaven sent an answer to that cry. I see you. I know that subtle emptiness aching deep in the center of your chest when you lay your head on the pillow at night. You're constantly giving pieces of yourself away, aren't you? Like someone carrying water to dry land. You keep giving pieces of yourself to your loved ones, your family, your relationships, your friends. You swallow your own sadness so they won't hurt. You create cracks within yourself so others won't feel incomplete. You stare at your phone mourning the message that never came, the call that never happened, the attention that was never shown. Deep inside you, there's a fear. If I don't call, they won't call. If I don't make the effort, this connection will disappear. If I stop trying, I'll be forgotten. This fear has wrapped itself around your heart like a vine, making it hard to breathe. You're exhausting yourself trying to become impossible to lose in someone's life. But strangely enough, the harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. The more you chase, the more they run. The more you pour your love out like a river, the more they build walls against it. And you ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? If my heart is this pure and my intentions are this good, why am I always the one being ignored? Why is the one who loves the most always the one who suffers the most? You're not doing anything wrong. You've simply forgotten an ancient secret, a truth hidden deep within the essence of your soul. Today, we've come to open the door to that secret. Today, we're going to slow down that exhausted heart that has spent far too long chasing people who never truly chose it. I want you to listen to this video until the very end with your heart fully open, because this isn't just another video you randomly clicked on. If this message reached you today, it is not something random to ignore. Maybe your soul truly needed to hear this today. Before we begin this journey, I want you to seal your intention right now, in this very moment. Write this in the comments as a declaration over your life. I value myself, and the love I deserve flows to me effortlessly. Write it down. Let this be your first step. Now lean back. Take a deep breath. Don't close your eyes. Just soften your gaze. Because what I'm about to tell you is your story. Listen carefully to this tale. In a distant land where truth hung suspended beyond time, there was a vast and fertile garden. The soil of this garden smelled beautiful, and its wind gently caressed the soul. In the very center of the garden stood 2 peach trees planted close to one another. One of these trees was stronger, grander, its branches reaching higher into the sky. Its trunk was thick, its leaves bright, and its posture proud. The other was more humble, thinner, perhaps a little weaker, but its roots were firmly attached to the earth. The larger tree admired its own shadow, its own fruit, and its own magnificence so much that it looked down on everything around it. It wanted the sunlight only for itself and the rain only for its own roots. One day, a fierce yet fruitful wind blowing from distant lands carried a rare flower seed into the garden. This wasn't an ordinary seed. It belonged to an enchanted flower whose fragrance could captivate kings and whose beauty could blind those who gazed upon it. The seed drifted through the air and landed beneath the proud and mighty peach tree. Hoping to settle into the soil, it asked softly, "Great tree, I've come from far away. I'm tired. May I grow beneath the coolness of your shadow and the kindness of your soil? Will you allow me to take root here?" The great tree shook its branches violently. Pride fell from its leaves. "Never," it roared. "My soil is precious. My water is barely enough for me. I don't have a single drop of water or a single inch of soil to share with a seed like you. And if you grow, you'll share in my beauty. You may even steal my water. Leave this place. Let the wind take you wherever it wishes." The little seed was heartbroken. Just then, another breeze carried it beside the smaller, humble peach tree. Trembling with fear, the seed asked the same question. "May I rest here beside you? May I stretch my roots into your soil?" The smaller peach tree opened its branches like welcoming arms. "Welcome," it said gently. "The earth belongs to God. The water belongs to God. Who am I to withhold his gifts from his guest? Come settle beside me. We'll share our water and our shade. Loneliness belongs only to God. You can be my companion." And so the seed entered the soil, embraced by that kindness and unconditional acceptance. Days chased nights, and nights chased days. Seasons passed. The seed sprouted and bloomed into such a magnificent flower that its fragrance spread across 7 lands. Its colorful petals transformed that corner of the garden into a piece of heaven. And this is where the true secret began. The bees who smelled the flower, the colorful butterflies, and the birds with the sweetest songs all began flocking to the corner where the humble peach tree stood. The bees landed on the flower and then flew to the tree's branches. Birds built nests there because of the sweet fragrance surrounding it. Through the pollen carried by the bees and the abundance brought by the birds, the small and fragile peach tree came alive. It grew stronger and more vibrant until its branches bent under the weight of its fruit. Every peach became sweeter than honey and brighter than diamonds. When the owner of the garden arrived, he saw the abundance, the beauty, and the life flourishing in that corner. "There is goodness here," he said, and he directed all his water, fertilizer, and care toward that tree and the flower growing beneath it. But what happened to the proud tree? The one that said, "I need no one. Everything should belong to me." No flower bloomed near it. No bee visited it. No bird landed on its branches. The coldness of loneliness dried out its roots. Its flowers, untouched by pollen, never turned into fruit. And because the gardener lost hope in it, he stopped watering it altogether. That mighty tree dried up inside its own selfishness and eventually rotted away into lifeless wood. Now stop and think. The small peach tree never chased the bees. It never begged them to come. It never said, "Please land on my flowers." It simply stood in its own center. It became a tree that welcomed. It discovered its worth through sharing. It opened its soil, its heart, to beauty, and beauty naturally attracted abundance back to it. And you, who have spent years chasing the bees, the birds, and the attention of others, could it be that you've been rejecting the seeds falling beside your own roots? Could it be that while trying so desperately to be loved, you've been neglecting the part of yourself that is already worthy of love? The little tree understood the secret. Let them come to you, because it knew that where there is honey, bees will come. Where there are flowers, butterflies won't stay away. Where there is peace, people will gather naturally. My dear friend of the soul, now that we've planted this truth into your mind, let's take an honest look into your spirit. Why do you constantly feel the need to chase people? Why can't you simply stand still, confident in your own worth? The elders used to say, "Who is more foolish than the man begging while sitting on top of a treasure chest?" That is exactly your situation. Inside you is a magnificent treasure, the divine breath God placed within your soul. Yet you keep begging people outside of you for crumbs of love, drops of attention, and scraps of approval. Let me tell you about someone. Let's call her Emma. Emma is in her mid-30s. She's successful, intelligent, kind-hearted, and beautiful in her own way. But inside Emma's heart is an invisible hole. Ever since childhood, she grew up believing, to be loved, I must be useful. To be loved, I must be perfect. To be loved, I must always be the one who gives. Whenever Emma enters a relationship, she turns herself into a servant. She does everything the man wants. She arranges her life around him. She calls before he calls. She explains herself before he's even asked. If he takes one step back, Emma rushes 3 steps forward, as if closing the distance is entirely her responsibility. But the more Emma gives, the more the other person takes, and the farther away they become. Emma measures her worth according to how someone else treats her. If he texts her, she feels valuable. If he doesn't, she feels worthless. If he smiles, she exists. If he frowns, she disappears. And here is the diagnosis. You've placed your value inside someone else's pocket. When they pull it out and show it to you, you feel alive. When they forget it's there, you collapse. And little by little, your soul becomes emotionally exhausted. Sometimes what we call love is actually the fear of being left alone with our own emptiness. You're so afraid of being alone with yourself that you need noise, chaos, and pursuit to silence that inner emptiness. Without realizing it, you slowly become emotionally dependent on their attention. When they give you attention, the dopamine flooding your brain makes you feel, I matter, I exist, I'm worthy. And when the attention disappears, you shake like an addict going through withdrawal. This truth is hard to accept. Your ego may be resisting right now. You may be saying, no, I truly love them. But real love is whole. Real love is the reflection of 2 complete people, not 2 broken halves desperately trying to complete one another. If you don't value yourself, nobody in this world will truly value you either. This is as certain as gravity itself. As long as you see yourself as easily obtainable, nobody will see you as a rare treasure worth cherishing. Did Emma's story feel familiar? If it did, take a deep breath. Because the diagnosis has been made. Now it's time for the treatment, breaking the illusion. Why are you trapped in this cycle? Why do you keep watching the same story play out in your life with different actors every single time? Because you've believed in an illusion. And the illusion says, if I try harder, I'll be loved more. If I sacrifice more, they won't leave me. If I run faster, I'll finally catch them. No. In spiritual psychology, there is a law of opposites. The more you push something, the more resistance you create. The more pressure you place on something, the more you suffocate it. Look, there is a story about 2 woodcutters that perfectly explains this great misunderstanding in relationships. There were 2 woodcutters. One was ambitious, restless, and never stopped moving. The other was calm, peaceful, and self-assured. One day they entered a competition. Who could cut down more trees by the end of the day? The ambitious woodcutter started working before sunrise. He never stopped. He didn't even pause for lunch. He barely stopped to drink water. If I rest, I'll lose. If I stop, I'll fall behind, he kept saying. Covered in sweat and exhaustion, he kept swinging his axe without pause. The calm woodcutter, however, started at a reasonable hour. Every hour, he sat down for 10 minutes and watched the sky. He enjoyed his lunch peacefully. From time to time, He stopped and examined his axe carefully. When evening came and the results were counted, everyone was shocked. The calm woodcutter who rested throughout the day had cut down far more trees. "This is impossible," he shouted. "I never stopped working. I struck the trees far more times than you did. How could you possibly win?" The calm woodcutter smiled and gave a magnificent answer. "My friend, while you were endlessly striking the trees, I was sharpening my axe during my breaks. Because my axe was sharp, one strike from me accomplished what took you 10 strikes to do. You exhausted yourself swinging a dull blade. And this is exactly what you're doing in relationships. You keep striking the tree with a dull axe. You constantly text, constantly call, constantly ask, 'What are you doing? Where are you? Do you still love me?' And in the process, you exhaust yourself. You tire the other person. And in the end, nothing changes. Sharpening the axe means returning to yourself. Sharpening the axe means raising your own energy. Sharpening the axe means beautifying your own garden. You're so busy thinking about someone else that you've forgotten to sharpen yourself. You've forgotten to grow. You've forgotten to nourish your spirit. You've forgotten how to enjoy your own company. And a spirit that has become dull is no longer attractive to anyone. Now we're going to do a spiritual exercise together to break this illusion. Wherever you are right now, feel your feet firmly touching the ground. Sit upright. Take a deep breath through your nose, hold it, and slowly exhale through your mouth. Now imagine a thick black cord attached to the center of your chest, right where your heart is. That cord stretches from your body to the person you've been chasing, the person constantly occupying your mind. Through that cord, your life energy, your joy, and your peace are flowing toward them. That's why you're exhausted. That's why they seem energetic and careless. Now imagine you're holding golden scissors in your hand. These are the scissors of willpower and self-respect. Take a deep breath and say, "I call my energy back to myself." Now cut the cord. See it breaking apart. Feel the energy that was leaving you stop flowing away and return back into your body. What belongs to you is returning to you. Your light is remaining within you. Now let out a deep sigh of relief. You are complete. You are whole. You don't need anyone to complete you. Practice this exercise whenever you feel overwhelmed. You can't attract love while your energy is leaking away. Now let's step beyond the illusion of the ego and look at this through the higher window of the soul. You believe, if I'm perfect, they'll love me. If I never make mistakes, they won't leave. That's why you wear masks. That's why you pretend to be someone you're not. Even when you're hurt, you smile. Even when you're angry, you stay silent. But do you know what ancient wisdom whispers to us? Perfection is one of the greatest punishments a person could ever receive. Because growth hides inside imperfection. Authenticity hides inside wounds. Light enters through the cracks. Now remember the famous story of the water carrier and the cracked bucket. But this time, listen to it differently. There was once a water carrier who carried 2 buckets hanging from each end of a pole resting across his shoulders. One bucket was flawless and shiny. The other was old and cracked. Every day the water carrier filled both buckets at the river and carried them back to his master's house. But by the time they arrived, the cracked bucket had lost half its water along the road. The perfect bucket was proud of itself. "I fulfill my duty completely," it would say. "I never waste a drop." But the cracked bucket lived in shame. "I'm flawed. I'm useless. I waste my master's effort because I can't hold the water," it cried. One day, unable to bear the guilt any longer, the cracked bucket spoke to the water carrier. "Master, throw me away. Replace me. I'm worthless. I can't even hold water properly. I ruin your hard work." The water carrier smiled wisely and replied, "Have you never noticed the flowers along the path? Look carefully. The side of the road where you hang is filled with colorful flowers. The other side is dry and lifeless. I always knew about your crack, so I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. Every day, without realizing it, you watered those flowers with the water you spilled. Those flowers bloomed because of your imperfection. I gathered them and decorated my master's table with them. If you had been perfect, none of this beauty would have existed." And maybe this is exactly your story. While you're destroying yourself believing you're flawed, broken, or not enough, perhaps the very thing you call your flaw is actually your greatest gift. Maybe your deep emotions, your quick attachment, your overflowing love, maybe those are your cracks. But they're also your fountain of compassion, your healing power. The problem isn't your crack. The problem is that you've been pouring your water onto barren lands, onto people incapable of appreciating your flowers. Yes, you're the cracked bucket, but you create life wherever your water touches. The people you've been chasing may only want to consume your water, not appreciate the gardens you can grow. Your value doesn't appear around those who use you. It appears around gardeners who recognize the beauty blooming from your soul. Stop trying to repair yourself. Stop asking, "Why am I like this?" Instead say, "This is who I am, and I'm beautiful even this way." The moment you accept yourself, people who will kiss your cracks instead of judging them will enter your life. Instead of wasting your energy hiding your imperfections, begin discovering the gifts hidden inside them. Remember this: the nightingale flies toward roses. Crows fly toward garbage. Discover the rose within yourself so the nightingales, the people who truly value beauty, can find you. Expecting nightingales while living in a garbage dump is pointless. Up to this point, everything sounds beautiful, doesn't it? You say, "Okay, I understand. I'll return to myself. I'll feel valuable." But I know something. The moment this video ends, darkness may return. Your phone will begin calling to you again. That restless voice inside your mind will whisper, "I wonder what they're doing right now." Anyone who tells you this path is easy is lying. This path is like wearing a shirt made of fire, because breaking habits hurts almost as much as breaking bones. Sometimes we call this shadow work. Those first moments when you're left alone with your loneliness and emptiness. That's the steepest hill you'll ever climb. In ancient traditions, there is something called retreat. A person withdraws from the noise of the crowd and locks themselves in a room alone with the monsters of their own ego. In the beginning, the ego screams, "I want attention. I want validation. I want noise." That tightness you feel in your chest when you're trying not to message someone. That pain is actually your healing beginning. That discomfort is part of your healing beginning. Why shouldn't you chase after anyone? God doesn't only provide money or food. He also provides love, peace, and the right people. Affection is a provision. Friendship is a provision. And God is the one who guarantees every provision. Just as milk flowed to your mother's chest before you even had teeth when you were born, just as your sustenance finds you even when you are not chasing it, the real love that is the provision of your soul will also find you. God is the source of all real love. He is the source of love itself. While you can connect yourself to that source, to that endless ocean, why are you asking for water from the small, dirty cups in people's hands? If we look deeply enough, the one who loves and the one who is loved are actually one. When you love yourself, when you honor that divine peace within you, The entire universe honors you in return. You are valuable. This isn't some motivational phrase. This is truth. God created you with purpose, value, and dignity. You are a representative of God on this earth. Constantly chasing people slowly makes you forget the value God already placed inside you. Put your crown back on your head. Sit on your throne. Your throne is your heart. When you sit on that throne with confidence, peace, and a pure heart, when you, like that little peach tree, spread beauty generously and without expectation simply by existing, not only that one person, but everyone and everything that resembles them, everyone better than them, everyone capable of recognizing your worth, will begin moving toward you naturally. Real value does not beg to be chosen. What is genuine is naturally recognized. And when you finally recognize your own worth, healthier connections begin finding their way to you naturally. Know your place. Know your worth. Know your value. Trust yourself. If your heart is pure, if your intentions are sincere, if you can love yourself for the sake of God, then your story is the only story that cannot end unhappily. Winter ends and spring arrives. Night ends and the sun rises. And the beautiful heart that remains patient, that doesn't give up but surrenders, that doesn't chase but invites, will surely reach what it longs for. This is the promise of the heavens. Now place your hands over your heart and say amen to this prayer with me. O Lord, owner of all hearts, honor me with the wisdom to know my own worth. Make me among those whose love overflows. Close my heart to what isn't good for me and open it to what is meant for me. Grant me the courage to release what needs to leave and the wisdom to be prepared for what needs to arrive. Make me dependent on your love, not on the attention of people, and crown my story with the most beautiful ending and the most blessed reunion. Amen. Let this video become the first day of your new life. No more chasing. From now on, there is waiting, but not with pain, with certainty, because the right people will never need to be chased. May God's love, peace, and blessings always be with you. And remember, no matter how difficult life becomes, you are never alone. God is always with you. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and stay connected for more messages that inspire faith, healing, and peace for the soul.